Yes. Yeah, we have two people also in here. Yes, so. Okay. Okay. One's night at 9:30. Yes. What? Night at 9:30, right? Like go five. Okay. I was gonna do it. If you want, I was gonna do it outside, but here I could learn it, which Chelek? Chof-Dalet, if you want. We should have another one. Which one is it? Chof-Dalet. We should have. Yeah. You have what parachutes also? Like, somebody used it. Okay, don't worry. It's not there? Okay. I think we lost. There was two people. They were waiting too long. They went off. Sorry, Davis, you're there? Doesn't matter. Don't worry. I see. He's
I'm
still on.
here. I'm here. But
Okay,
people
very good.
wait. They don't hear anything. They leave.
Okay, fine. So we'll start now. Right. Okay. So okay. So in the text, in a sense, the title was we need both, right? What was the title? We need both Yeshiva Bochurim and Soldiers. So this is a hot topic right now. Oh, the Ibisha should help. The Bochum that aren't listening now, when they come to that facility, they might be arrested. And the Bochum is supposed to come next week, next month, rather. Cannot come. Yeah, serious business. Sure, yeah. So Chabad is the one that go the most. More Haredi. Right. But right after married, you go to that. Anyway. You were in the army also? I left as a soldier before that. Okay. So there's a Sichos which in it comes up a discussion about this. Sichos has to do with actually Chafov, which is coming up this Wednesday night, this week. The Rebbe's father's yahrzeit. And but it's connected with already starting from Chamishas above, because the Gemara says starting from Chamishas above, Mechamishas above, Elo Tashos Keicha Shachama V'Lo Yokesa Mitzim L'Maracha L'Pisheina Mivation. Starting already from Chamishas above, so then the sun already is not as strong, and therefore they would not cut wood for the mizbeach because it wasn't dry because the heat of the sun wasn't there as before, and therefore it was a little moist, and therefore we're worried that there might be worms in it, and therefore they didn't cut from the eitzim after Chemish Hasabav. So what would they do? So different families were menadiv, and they gave eitzim. They cut eitzim from before Chemish Hasabav, and they would bring those eitzim and give it as a nadava to the base to the mizbeach, and that's what they would use. And then the next year, and the years after, on that day, it was a Yom Tiv
for this ceremony.
for that family. That family would make it as a Yom Tiv, the day of Simcha, the day of carbonating. So this is where the Rebbe says the only place where he found in Shas Leis Ata, he says, where it says Chafav. He mentions Chafav.
Everyone is finding a Nikki.
Yeah. So this is Tafshin Yud Aleph. This is the Sichos from Tafshin Yud Aleph. So the first year that Rebbe was talking about father. I don't know if the Rebbe, yeah. So I was going to connect it a little bit to his father. So it starts with Chamish Hasabav. So the Gemara says, who was the family? So the family which brought on Chamish Hasabav itself. The family which brought on Chafav. That was like the family which actually had to prepare the wood from beforehand. Because for one Chamish Hasabav, they just could even that day they were able to cut wood. It wasn't so special.
Well, Chofov is
Chafav, because they already had to.
before.
They had to already think about it beforehand.
Right.
So that was a special thing. Because you couldn't get to that wood anymore. It was something that they specially prepared, and they did a besimcha. So, an interesting thing. What was so special also about it was they weren't cutting wood for themselves. It wasn't for their own karbanos. It wasn't only cutting wood for carbon tzibur, which they also have a chilek in the carbon tzibur. They're cutting it for other yidden, and even a yid which is bringing a chatov, bringing a asham, a yid which is doing it for aveda. Which because he did it on Veda, and they wanted to help out even such a yid, and they did it in a way of simcha. They made it a Yom Tov. It was a special thing, and because of that, that's why we find the Gemara said that the machlekes in the Gemara, who was the mishpacha which brought on Chafav? Machlekes. What was the machlekes? The question could ask, we know that you can't have a machlekes in Sichos. The Gemara says that such and such a thing happens. You can't have a machlekes in Sichos because Elo Divakim Chaim. Whoever says in the Torah is emes.
Impossible, two family bought it.
Yeah.
One family.
So which family brought it? So the Rebbe could mix up shah. The Rebbe explains that it was one family, but just one family came from these two. Because it says that one the mayor machlekes, the mayor says Hein b'nei David ben Yehuda, they came from David HaMelech, his family. And the other family says they came from Yair ben Sruya, a general of David. They were the Tzai. So machlekes in Sichos. So the Rebbe explains that one mishpacha, and it came from. There's one mishpacha, and that one mishpacha came from both of them. Came from both from David and both from Yehuda and Sruya. Therefore, it's not a machlekes in Sichos. So what's the machlekes? Machlekes is what's the machlekes? They're both agreeing. Machlekes is why would they with this family which has such a good midas that they to go out for another yid, the simcha, to get wood for the mizbeach. Like, where did it come from? Which schus? Whose schus did they get this from? Where did they get this from? Where did they get this from? So that's the machlekes. Did they get it from David HaMelech?
Oh,
Or from Yehuda ben Sruya? Yeah, Yoav ben Sruya. So the mayor.
It was a general for
David. Yeah. So the mayor says it was from David, and that was the schus. And Basi says the schus was David. So this is all in Gemara Mesachas Tainus Chavav. So the Gemara says, to understand what exactly is understand what exactly the machlekes. Why would they think David HaMelech is the biggest course? Why would they think Yair is the biggest course? This is where we come into this discussion about because the army, Yair or David, who would learn Torah. Because the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, it says, Mali David Le'asa Yair Melchama.
You need the Torah from David in order for you have to win the Milcham.
Right. Exactly. So David's Torah protected Yair in his wars. And Mali David Le'asa Yair Melchama. If not for David, Yair would not be able to do war. Happy to be successful in war. Mali Yair Le'asa David B'Torah. And if not for Yair, also the opposite. If not for Yair, David would not have time to be able to learn Torah.
Because they protect the thing.
Because Yair was during the war, so that was able to learn Torah.
Sit alone.
So it's not only that the David HaMelech was able to David HaMelech was able to learn
While he was fighting.
because Yair was fighting, but also
The learning itself, there was a protection for you. It's like part of the army. You have the vision.
so the one hand is the Sichos of David learning that protected Yair and to be able to be successful, but also Yair had a chelik in the Torah of David because Yair was doing the job of war.
So
David was able to
sit alone.
learn.
So he has the schus.
He had like a chelik of it. It's not just that there's a schus of Torah and the schus of Torah.
Because of him, he was able to sit alone.
Yeah, and the schus of Torah is protecting Yoav in the war. But he actually had a chelik. Yoav actually had a chelik in the Torah of David HaMelech. So it was a very strong schus. That was the discussion. That was the discussion.
So the time from the Chayalim is, why I have to send my son to the army to die, and you sit and they can sit alone there. You go to the war, and I send my son to Yeshiva.
Okay, so send your son to the Yeshiva.
Say, they don't want to do it.
They rather send them to war than to go to the Yeshiva.
Yeah. But so why my son have to die, and you as you are the same, so
Adrabah.
okay.
Because they're looking that you're sitting in Yeshiva and doing nothing. But they're looking, what do you mean? What are you doing?
You're not protecting my son. Otherwise, my son should not die. If you're sitting in Syria and learning, you're supposed to protect my son should not die.
Right. So in the war, you have a lot of people. Not everyone's on the front lines.
Exactly.
Saying there's many people which are not. Saying the whole people sitting behind desks and shooting down rockets also. So it's everyone. So but it comes from a real appreciation of the Torah that the Torah can protect. So that's the Rebbe actually says, and there's a Sichos, the Rebbe talks about this in the Lamas. This is the old Shiloh. It's not a new Shiloh. It's all the years of the Medina.
Mm-hmm.
That Adrabah, those who are on the front lines are considered heroes. They're praised for it. Those are in Yeshiva are frowned upon. But so Adrabah, so you don't have that good feeling that you have.
You're not praising it. Oh, you still not praising it.
Yeah, you're saying, oh, you're a bad player. You're not doing what you're supposed to do, like you see. Yeah, certain mila. Okay, if someone is supposed to be, if somebody there's a minor, the Rebbe answered, the Rebbe responded to I think it's to Muchkin.
Muchkin?
One of his sons. They came from
Russia.
They came from Russia. I think it was Label Muchkin, I think. That he came here. It's all of Hashem already, yeah. And he in Russia the Giber Bagashmias.
Right.
He took down a few KGB like people.
Right.
He took over a train or something. He sent the guy flying to, and he took over to all the food and able to get all the food to help Chassidim. They were
Strong, strong
real
fight.
strong guys and brave, courageous people. So he came over here, and I don't know what war it was, but he wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael to go fight, to go help out. So he wrote to the Rebbe, he wants to do it. The Rebbe wrote to him that if you have somebody, a person in the army, people are put in different positions. That some people are in the front, some people, have to be at home and doesn't make a difference where you're put. If you leave your post, you're called a deserter. You're deserting your army. This is your post. You wanted to be in the front lines. Nobody asked you. That's your job. Is where you're exactly where you're put. That's you have to have Kabbalah sale. That's what it is. So he's saying, tell them your job is not to learn in yeshiva, not to go to
Come to them.
not to learn. And that's how you're gonna fight the war. That's your post. Not that we're not going to the army. This is how you're fighting in the army. That's your look at it. It's not you're part of the army. You're part of fighting. It's not that we're chas shalom. We're saying, oh, the army is a bad thing, and we're against the army. No, the army is an important thing. But everyone has their job. Everyone has their job. There's right. So we know that after like you said in Chabad, after
You get married.
you get married, after Kollel, so the general the chlal is you go on shluchus.
But you could have a shlichus down.
But many people were in the army. Many Chassidim Chabad
Well, really,
were in the army. It's
talk for my brother. For 30 years, it's Israeli. It was too long.
reservist as a Maluim.
No, he was 3 years in the army. When he finished, he wanted to have a continue down the army. And tell him, no, stay down.
No way.
Yeah, for 30 years, he stayed in the army.
Wow.
And now that he finished, he's still going back to the army. Close to 60 years old.
What was his position? What was his
He has a good position in the Israeli Air Force.
in the Air Force?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Next.
And now he has a son that also in the army already for 11 months.
Lubavitcher Chassid.
Full beard.
Full beard and face. Wow. Beautiful.
Many Lubavitcher like that. There's a picture about 2 weeks ago. Benjamin Netanyahu went to the Israeli Air Force to meet the big guy. And he shake a hand. A guy with the pears, with this, with the okay. Lubavitcher guy. Temani.
Wow.
Kiddush Hashem.
Wow. Okay, so that's all important. It's important that we have that was supported the army. Said it's something which is necessary. We need to have for Tzva Hagana Israel.
Right.
You need to have for Hagana for the you have to do what you got to do.
Right.
But at the same time, you also have to have
From the there.
you have to have
You
people
must
in
learn
Torah.
the Torah.
It's not a contradiction. It's
It's a
all
must.
part of the war.
Right.
We need because our koyach we have to remember just like in everything, just like in business, we know our koyach is really the Eibush bracha. So the koyach of the Yidden, we had this many flies. This many flies. We have the Eibush when we put on tefillin, like that Rebbe put into title. All this is the real koyach. The real koyach, which is we have to do what we got to do, but the Eibush makes the nissim and flies.
One of the Israeli Lubavitcher left the Dvar Malchus. And after they left, 1 hour to find the Dvar Malchus and gave it to one of the Asses.
One of the yes, I saw something.
And he was having this for a couple of months. He said he knew from the first page to the last page by heart the whole Dvar Malchus.
Amazing that he gave it to him.
The Arab, they know what is this. They don't read Hebrew.
They gave him
So
something.
when he came out, they want to know who left the Dvar Malchus because of him. He was busy so much time learning the whole Dvar Malchus. Back by hand.
Unbelievable
All the
story.
Sichos of my Morim, all the Chilas, keep learning every day. You didn't have anything else.
Wow. Unbelievable story. Yeah. Yeah, so it's all important. Everything's important, but we just have to realize that's Torah's importance, and that's the real key to that's it's not like they everyone knows that it's not like the Bemis need all of them to come.
No, it's a war against Satan.
It's
I see Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson's
I
article.
saw it's very nice. He wrote very well. That's Massad's right everyone knows it's a political thing. It's not really that. If the emes needed, they shouldn't have to need such a thing. Then avada, everyone has to go. Saying there's no question about it. If it tack 100% that they need it, you have to go. But everyone knows, not a secret that it's not that they don't need everyone.
Explain why not. They're not really
You
fighting
just
a
you just
battle to win.
you just
No, saying explain it for anyone that's listening.
yeah.
They're not really fighting a battle to win. They're just trying to keep status quo. You know,
It's a political. It's not actually really. When my father was a Bocher 6 Day War, this physically they need him to go to the army. It's not like no, it was the more and he went to the army.
100%. You got to do it. You have to do it.
But he was still in the army. He was running with the Chayalim and he's
Right.
doing extreme. While he was in the army, he was doing a lot of time.
Right. So they came out to Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael. They came out to Rabbanim Levav. They came out with directives what to do for the Bachman. Still, we're not sure exactly the matter because they're still trying to work things out. But
It didn't work. It didn't work out.
right, it seems as of now it was failed. So as of now, they say that if they get a draft, it's like first Saturday show, you must probably know better what these things are. Then they go in order to avoid sanctions, so they should show up, I guess, to the office, I guess, or something.
Yeah. You have to follow the rules.
But afterwards they say not to remember from the Sichos of the Chassidim in Russia. That's what they write.
It's a very hard decision to make, but it's you when it's come to your own son and you see your son will be in jail. It's not so simple.
Right. So,
Easy to sit behind and say, do these, and
right.
storm it. But when it's your own son and he's going to jail, it's not so simple.
So the Vaila, they said they shouldn't come. They should shouldn't
right.
come to Kfutza.
No.
For Vaila until
We don't know yet.
as of now, it's on hold.
You can.
And they're trying to organize. But they say that you have to stay strong. And,
Very, very strong. Yeah.
they have to, you know. Hopefully something will happen.
They will have a big chaotic all about you going in because they're going to make a lot of people follow the truth. No, serious. They know that. They think our ways.
well, a lot of people disagree. A lot of things because
That's the way it was. My father told me when he was in the army, he wanted to go home for Shabbos and he told me, listen, I need to make Kiddush, I need to listen to Slatera, I need mikveh Shabbos.
They're already stories with this already now.
So the packet says, no, you can't do it. You have to stay. He said, what? You're going to regret. He said, what? Meaning you told me. I said, no, I just tell you the fact. And Friday night, my father got the whole unit and instead of making a bonfire, he made Kiddush for them and he sat down for bringing with them too late at night. Shabbos morning again, didn't have a secretary, so he tried to daven by heart as much as he could. If I bring with them, two mamash, when they come to Shabbos, the surgeon come to the unit and he said, if I bring him with him, and he said, no, leave him alone. He's the best. I said, why? You all going to be Balchuvas? What I did, you know. I told you, I warned him before.
Your father specifically, the right person to know that. This is in the 6 day war.
right, why would Jacobson said, during the 6 Day War, when they thought they won on their own, we didn't need Haredim in the army then.
Filo.
Right. But
The most die was Haredim in 6 Day War.
But really, where were the Haredim in 1967 and all the wars we won? Did anyone blame our victories on their absence?
Right. Yeah.
You're right good.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So this is what's the machlekes between. So this is machlekes in the Gemara between the Meir and Yesi. Who is the greater schus? The David HaMelech who was learning the Torah, or Yev who was running the wars?
Or you need both.
So if you sure need both, the question over here: who is the machlekes between the Tanoim? The Meir says that there was that's because basically both of them had. The point was both of them had the Sichos Nefesh and Bittul in their learning Torah. Or in a bittul, either in the learning Torah or in dealing with the world and fighting with the world, fighting with the nations of the world. So each one had considered. It wasn't just making a coffee. His Torah was he was totally given over to it. He was totally with bittul, like it says. His learning. It says his halacha was like him because Hashem was with him, because he had a bittul when he learned it. He had a Mesiras Nefesh. He was given over. His soul, heart and soul was given over to the Torah. David HaMelech. But then there was Yael, was the Mesiras Nefesh. It expressed itself for dealing with the world, with fighting the. So both of them had it from both. But David HaMelech also was a warrior But this at this point, this was each one of this was their main quality. Where expressed their Mesiras Nefesh, either in learning Torah or dealing with the world. And that was the Machlekes in the Meir and B'Yisi. The Meir, the word Meir means lights, or shines. He was higher than the world, where it was lights. So he had the bittul of Torah. He saw the bittul of Torah. That was the mile, the bittul of Torah, which is Ur. That was David
That's why
HaMelech.
we say David.
He said David HaMelech. But Yesi, on the other hand, Isaiah says of Yesi is the Gemach 86, which is the same Gemach as the name of the King of Hashem, which has to do with also the same Gemach Hateva of nature. He has to do with nature, with the world. He dealt with the world. So Muhammad with the world. And that's why he saw the Mila of Yoav. He dealt with the nature, with the world. That's why the Machlekes Meir was talking about the Mile of David, and Yesi was connected. Hateva was picking Yaakov. So I'm saying you weren't in the beginning, but we're talking about there was a family who brought wood to the Mizbeach and Nadava on Chof, which is coming up this week. Because starting on Tezvav B'Av, the sun wasn't as strong, and therefore the wood wasn't as dry, and therefore there was, exactly. We were worried that there might be worms. Therefore, they donated, which means they cut from beforehand, and they did it with such a simcha, and even for they made the wood. It wasn't for their own carbonas. Even for Yid would maybe bring a chatas, something they didn't have later. They did it b'simcha. They had a yom the next year, bring it for them also. So with Mars, the Meir and Beis are arguing this family, where did this family come from? Did it come from David or from Yael? So we say it can't be Machlekes and Metzias, because who was it? Was it David? I'm saying which one was it? So the Rebbe says it was one family which came from both. But Machlekes was whose chus was it? Was it David or Yael? In other words, the Machlekes was who had the greatest chus, David or Yael? So the Meir said that David's, because the Meir had looked at the mile of Torah. Yesi was Tava. The nature. He said Yoav's chus.
Yesi is Teva.
Yesi, the Zayah said Yesi Yud Vav is 16. Tamach is 76.
76.
And then Yud at the end is 86.
Oh.
Hateva. Hey is 5. Tes is.
How come nobody's known as Yoshi today? Yoshi. We have the nickname.
Call people Yossi, but
Yosef. After Yosef.
Right.
No,
it's a different
Yosef
name.
And Yoshi is two different names.
You're right.
It's short of Yosef, I think.
No, I don't know. Like Rab Yosi.
No, I think it might be a different name. I don't know.
Two different
Yoshi wasn't Yoshi. It wasn't a nickname for Yosef.
It wasn't Yosef.
Today we make all our names with the E at the end.
Yeah.
Right. We don't find people names Rab Yosi.
Right.
It's a nickname, yes.
Yes, I agree.
I'm just curious.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. And the Lakim is also B'Gemasha 86. Right.
Like the Yosef and Yazir, but Yosef.
Right.
It was like many of them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's the machlekes. Who is the main thing? Another way of explaining the machlekes. So another way of explaining the machlekes between the Meir and Bisi about between who was greater, David or Yael, is we find a lot of places machlekes in the Bavli and Shalmi. There's the present and the future. So what's the main thing? The future or the present? Could I do something? Do I have an obligation to do something now because something is difficult now because in the future something good's gonna come out as a te'elos. It's gonna be something good that comes out of it later. Or do I say that no, because right now it's It's a difficult thing to do. It's not something which is necessary for now.
That's all b'shalos.
So yeah, that is a b'shaita. So this is the machlekes.
In the
You find a lot of places, in Yishalmi, that between the Bavli and the Yishalmi,
right?
that the Yishalmi says that we look out at the future. We look at the future, and therefore the means is worth it for the ends. It's worth it to forego the means for the ends.
And justify the means.
Yeah, but not always. Obviously, it means that do you have obviously something which in Yiddishkeit we don't say that the end justifies the means, right? We don't say that usually, right? Right? A mitzvah baba aveda, right? You can't do an aveda to get a mitzvah, right? The end is that the mitzvah, right, doesn't justify the means, and you can't do an aveda in order to, right?
Yeah.
So right, a lot of people they think, oh, as long as it's a good thing, it's good things coming out of it. Who cares how it's done, right? But that's not the Jewish approach. But over here, the discussion is not just doing an aveda. The discussion is doing something difficult. Do you have an obligation? That's the question. Do you have an obligation, a chiyuv, to do something which is difficult now? Because there's going to be a ta'elos, there's going to be something you're going to gain later.
Can you give a good example?
So this is going to be an example right over here.
Going to not only there. For the future.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're discussing over here. We look at the hoiva or the asid. So the Yishalmi usually says we look at the asid and the ta'elos of the asid, or the mile you're going to gain, and therefore you're ready for now. You start worrying about what's going to be later. That's the Yishalmi. And the Bavli says no. So you have like this. So the David, what was the advantage? Was he was able to get through a Yoav doing so you could say like the goal or the ta'elos which he gets from Yoav is from Yoav doing the war, through Yoav doing war now. So through that there's able to come from that David is able to be free to be able to learn Torah. So that's the means to the end. Through this, that Yoav was during the war,
fighting now
helped David be able to learn Torah, to be able to be free.
Right.
So it's something. So is there a chiyuv? Was there a chiyuv for Yoav to do the war now, or in order for him to be able to do, in order for Yoav?
This is a little more complicated situation of it's two different people.
Right.
But each one protect the other. If you we're not going to make a war, what's his name? David HaMelech cannot sit alone. If David cannot sit alone, you cannot make a war. So you need both of them. You need the car and you need the fuel. The fuel without the car is not good. The car without the fuel is not good. You need both of them. You need the fuel and the car.
But so they both have to be done.
They both have to be done.
They both have to be
Then
done.
it's
Right
for now.
then.
It's for now. According to Rishon, it's for now.
Right.
So,
Did the war need to happen then?
yeah.
War is you're not planning when to have the war.
No, there were certain wars that David did reshus. I'm saying there were certain.
So then there's no
Right.
choice. It had to be done.
Right.
By somebody at least.
Right. So you're saying you're saying it's not it's
I'm not sure.
Machamas mitzvah. You're saying.
I'm saying the example mixes a little different than your standard now versus later because it's two different people.
Right.
But go ahead, continue.
Right, but the question is if David who had the chiyuv to do it, sort of
okay,
like.
Gotcha.
So the question was Yoav mechuyev to do it or not. That was the question is. So the Yishalmi looks at it that Yoav was mechuyev to do it because in order to bring the teyela, you have to do this difficult thing now. You have a chiyuv to do this difficult thing now of doing the war in order to come the teyelas of David HaMelech later. So in other words, the Yishalmi looks at that. Who's really the greatness over here? It's for David because Yoav was anyhow mechuyev to do this. It wasn't something that he was saying he had to do it. And he was mechuyev to do it because according to Yishalmi, because you have to do something now for something for a te'elos to come out of it later. It's not so much about time wise. It's about
what's going to come out of it.
Yeah, like the means to the end. Saying even if the end could happen around the same time, It's the means versus the
He
end.
has to do it.
So since he was mechuyev to do it, so it wasn't such a grayskeit as since he had to do it anyhow. He didn't have a choice about it. And the grayskeit was David HaMelech. So that's the Yishami would look at it. And a mayor, which is the Ur, which Yishami is also the way the Yishami is also a way of shining. We know the difference between the Bavli and Yishami. The Gemara itself says that Makshakim Heshivani, that you put me in darkness, referring to the Tav of Bavli. Because then there's the whole questions and answers, things are not pasha, it's not simple. And Yishami, it's halach, more halachas. Like it's little, when you start reading Yishami, it's a little drier. A lot of people say that's when they finish the Bavli and they had the Geshmak and they start reading the Yishami. So I need to go down to the Yishami. Start going to Yishami a little bit. They slow down a little bit because it's dry. It's not as it's more halach. It's not the back and forth and questions and answers as much. So why? Because it shines. Like when you're in a dark room, in a dark room, you're trying to figure out everything, but when it's shining, the light's on, there's no question that you see it. You see what it is. So the Yishalmi was shining. So therefore, the mayor, which is light, he went with the Yishalmi. And he said that the grayskeit over here is David HaMelech. David HaMelech is a grayskeit. On the other hand, Rabbi Yisi, which had to do with nature, with Teva, with the world, with dealing with the world. So with darkness, so that's he went with the way of the Talmud Bavli. And by then he said that Yoav was not mechuyev to do this right now. David Melech should have done it. Yoav wasn't mechuyev, wasn't obligated to do it. So since he wasn't obligated to do it, so therefore, and he still did it. Oh, that's very special. He went out of his way to do something he wasn't mechuyev. So that's very special. That's a big schus. He gets extra big schus for that. Right? It's a difference if you have to do something or if you don't have to, and you push yourself to do it. So that's a big schus. So says the Yesi that since he didn't have to do it, because he held that we look at what you have to do now, and if right now we don't look at the means for the end, we look at the means. We look at it the way it is right now, and so therefore he didn't have obligation. Yoav didn't have obligation to do this war, and he still did it, so that's a big schus. So he said, that's the reason why this family, their grandkids, that's the reason why they were so special, that they went out of the way to bring this carbon, this is wood, and on the Mizbeach, and they did a simcha, they made a yomtiv every year for that day which they brought it, and they did it for another yid who even maybe just who did an aveda, so that's where it came from. So what do we learn from this? What do we learn from all this? I threw in this I wasn't planning in the beginning to throw this last shtickle about the Bavli and Shamis. I see Chasher Yidden over here. So what do we learn from this? Getting back to the story, we said the story about this family. This family, which brought the eitzim, brought the wood. The family which brought the wood on Chof, they had this wood which nobody else had. Everyone had the wood which wasn't as dry as their wood. And they gave it up. And they prepared it. They thought about it, they prepared it, and they besimcha, they gave it to another yid, even if for Aveda, who did an Aveda, who wants to bring a carbon chatos. So what does this teach? It teaches us that if a person has in his possessions, he has something which nobody else has. He has a talent. Every person's unique. Every person has something which nobody else in the world has. So a person should be ready to give it up for another yid. Even a yid which did an aveda. Even such a yid which did an aveda. Just like they gave the wood for the mizbeach, even for someone who needed the wood on the mizbeach to bring his chatos, because he didn't have Veda. And when he gives it in a way, not to just give it to him, I have to give it to him. Simcha. Like this family, every year they would make a yom tov on that day, which they were zeicha to start bringing this the wood.
If I remember in Aloha.
They were, yeah, so they're the
They
Yom
would say
Tov.
definitely the Yom Tov.
Yeah,
Yom Tov, yeah.
yeah, it was their Yom
Making
Tov.
Seuda and etc.
It's the same thing they do for another Yid. To give away for another Yid, in a way, it's Riva Simcha. Now, how can we, now the Rebbe asks, how can we give this over to the next generation, to students, to children, to students, whatever person has influence on? So, so we see from here, where did this family come from? Came from David, came from Yoav and Tzviya. What was special about David and Yoav? They both were totally devoted and given over and Mesiras Nefesh and what the in for Hashem. In whichever way, whatever they were doing, whether they were Yeshiva Bochurim, they gave themselves over to learning. It wasn't just walking in and taking a coffee and having a schmooze and reading a few lines and out. They took it serious. They gave themselves over to learning Torah. They had Mesiras Nefesh and bitter for Torah. And also someone who's a Baal Isik, someone who deals with business and deals with the world, also deals with the world, dealing with the world and being a Yid the way it's supposed to be in the world is also could be, is for sure could be a Mesiras Nefesh and a bittul, giving yourself over. So when a person shows that devotion, it doesn't make a difference what a person's doing in life. It's all about how they're doing it. Right? They say, the Rebbe pushed for shluchos, right? So a lot of people, let's say they were teaching in yeshiva, they were in different capacities, whatever they were doing. There were people in business. And the Rebbe said they should go into business, whatever it was. So he said, how could we? So that the message was depends the approach. The approach. If person's approach to whatever they're doing is an approach, an attitude of shluchos, it doesn't make a difference what they're doing. They could accomplish sometimes. Someone in business can accomplish a lot more than a shliach could do. Who they come in contact with, and also the way they, the way they're given over to the kavanah. So someone in yeshiva could be a 9 to 5 job on the clock, and is not invested and devoted. I'm saying devoted to shluchos, to making sure that the chinuch of the students, that the package should be given over. So it doesn't make a difference what the person is doing, but the Rebbe says over here that Yoav, because Yoav and David HaMelech were what they did, whether they were doing wars or whether they were learning Torah, they were given over. They had a bittul and Mesiras Nefesh. So they were zeicha that they should have descendants, or the Rebbe says doesn't only necessarily mean little children, but naich elot tamim, also students, saying that their students should also have that ability to have beautiful midas, midas tevis, of avos Yisrael, of avos chinam, to do for another yid, the simcha, to give something which they had, to give it the simcha, give it over to another yid. That comes from that attitude. Sometimes you see taka, you see people which are Ibrig, and you see that the people around them are affected in a very special way. So this Sicha was said in the first year of the Rebbe is becoming the Rebbe, Tafshin Aleph, Chaf for his father. So the Rebbe mentions.
For bringing Tafshin.
Okay. So the Rebbe mentions the connection to the Rebbe's father.
From the Gemara.
Oh, so we said that's about his family, that they went out for another Yid. So the Rebbe says an interesting thing about his father, right? We know that his father, Yitzchak, Leivik, was Mr. Nefesh, and he was a Yid, which was someone who was actually lived in a different world. Everyone on his Matseva, right? A lot of people are going to go for in Kazakhstan.
It's cool to be there.
You were there? Okay, so it says Makubal, right?
Makubal.
He was a
Makubal.
I'm a Makubal. So not so many people. Even Chassidim, you don't write a Makubal. It's a he. Everyone knew he lived in a different world.
The name too of him. Maharash and Rashab.
Maybe Rashab and Fidik Rebbe, probably.
No, the Maharash and the Rashab.
Yeah?
Because the Rebbe wanted his father Matzeva should be connected to the Rebbe.
Interesting. So maybe Rashab to the Rebbe Marash? Maybe. Interesting, maybe.
Maharash and Rashab.
Okay, but he was Mishpach. I'm not sure. Okay, interesting.
He was a Chassid of the story.
Right. Yeah, so he was someone he was everything connected to Kabbalah, his whole story in jail and everything, and where how many jails he went to, and his match of his name, the days, everything, every step he took, and everything that happened to him, everything was he wasn't like as a regular person. He lived in he has in Nigla and Chassidus and Kabbalah.
He says why this one said this, why this one says Kabbalah because it's this fear and this fear. Back and forth.
But at the same time, he had Mesiras Nefesh. He didn't sit in his room and learn Torah.
To answer question for people.
He Mesiras Nefesh. And Mesiras Nefesh to spread Torah in Yiddishkeit. He spoke very very strongly in the shul about keeping Yiddishkeit in the time of communists, and he did activities which for dangerous activities for he says even for Pashto Yidden, for Anashim Pshutim, people were not b'chlal on his level, not at all. And
every building in Russia had somebody who lived in the first floor working for KGB. Check will come into
it's famous story that he even invited this person, the KGB person,
the KGB itself. He told him
for a tent for they needed for the chuppah.
He's the one that's supposed to tell the police what's going on, and
he invited him to come. So he understood his nafesh for another yidden, which and he suffered because of that, and he went into jail. And he went into Galus. He was sent far off to Galus, to exile, and then that's how he passed away eventually.
He wasn't the chazan from his son. Can you imagine?
Right.
Couldn't be the son. What kind of masnefesh you had?
And so you saw, and he did it b'simcha. He did it b'simcha. He did this Mesiras Nefesh b'simcha. This idea of this mishpacha, which gave over. He did it b'simcha. So he saw it by the Leivik. He saw this. He saw this by the Leivik. So interesting. The Rebbe can show says that he wants to find another connection to Chof. Oh, the Rebbe wants to find a nigla, something about this day.
That was the nigla.
All right. So he said in Shas, this is where he found where it says Chof about the story. And then there's which happens right, which never found another connection. There's there in Yerushalayim. There's a yeshiva. There's a shul of Mekabalim, which is called, and they have him in Minhagim, which is called Minhagim Akil Kadesha Beis Kil Yakovitz, I think how you said. And on Chof of they do a Taras Nadarim because 40 days before Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, there's some fine serious.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. On Chof
not for Chof, but already this week.
This week is Chof maybe.
It's on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, just calculate in my head.
Yes, Wednesday nights.
Okay.
So it says that like just like before Yom Kippur, 40 days before, which Yom Kippur is also called Rosh Hashanah, 40 days before it starts to Chodesh Elul. So you have this idea of something special. 40 days already before Rosh Hashanah it's already something special over there. In a way, the Rebbe would talk about from the Munkatcher. The minhag is to say, starting from Chamish Asar B'Av,
Shana Teva.
Ksivach Simateva Shana Teva Sukkah.
Right.
The Rebbe brings from the Munkatcher. I think that the gematria
Shana Teva
is Chamish Asar B'Av. Yeah, so that's starting Chamish Asar B'Av. Already preparing, you're ready for Rosh Hashanah. So already wishing everyone Ksivach Simateva Shana Teva Sukkah.
Right. Should have like this year.
Should be this year, yeah. Yeah, gesundte Fehlach for all the Yidden, Mashiach already. Genug with all the negative things. All have happy things, healthy things.
The Rebbe was against people to go to college. or people who did went to college, they haven't been talking quick and go to yeshiva, stay there and finish
Right.
and do what you have
Sure.
to do, and show frumkeit over there. Look
Sure.
at your father.
Sure.
He stayed in college, he got the degree, married, bought children, frum. Think about it.
Yes, it's true. You're
Could have
100%
been
right.
like a Manhattan Jew, you know, modernity over there. Who know what you'd be today? But no, but
Yeah, it's
you
true.
listen to the Rebbe and he took it and he uses a tool for Yiddishkeit, not against Hashem, not
Right.
to.
Because if they wish to put you in that position, that's your shlichus, you know.
He did the shlichus this
Yeah.
year. And he told us a story how his father used to go to different hospitals, Shabbos.
Wow, you managed to remember. Wow.
It's like,
I'm gonna tell him that you remember all this.
it's a big deal. Think about it. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
He followed the Rebbe and look, he walks him with the family that Shem Tiferet.
Yeah, wow. Let me ask you, I know 9:30 is officially Maida. Is there going to be a Maida tonight?
I don't think so. I don't think so, fellas.
No, Chaim is.
We only 5 people.
We have 5 people on the Zoom. Maybe if they come.
You know,
Not pretty child. No.
Usually don't start 9:30. Meyer usually we're at quarter 2, but usually we only have
the show
3,
has
4,
8
5
people,
more.
9 people,
8,
different story. Right?
7 people at least. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's on this
Yeah.
WhatsApp Syrian group. They started already last night at Arsenal. I don't know.
Oh,
why,
wow.
but, yeah,
Wow.
Some people
Interesting.
started last night,
Wow.
which is,
Chamisha Asabah, maybe they're starting. Right?
what about all the Nadarm that might happen the next 6 weeks?
They're going to make it again.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe they do.
Like we do Rosh Hashanah and we do Yom Kippur.
College,
Yeah. Okay. Shkayach, everyone.
Shkech to you.
Have a wonderful, I should say, Tzivach Simuteva, Shantei Masukah, a wonderful year.
Where's our
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah. Good night to everyone.
here with your son?
Yeah, good to see you today this morning. See you well.
He's in Muncie area. Went to some friends to some family. Nice.
That's good.
No,
That's
it's
good.
Right, Porsche area. Beautiful.
Foshe, Yosef Moss is there. Foshe.
Who?
Yosef Moss.
Right,
Who?
yeah.
Well, it's a big place.
Yeah. I heard the house is there, Mamish.
5 close here.
Really nice Porsche.
Everybody has few acre in the front, few acre in the back. And
Yeah.
you drive into the
Yashikoa.
Shkayach for coming.
a good enough.
I represent exactly what you talked about.
Yeah.
Ex- With somebody in the shear. In the shear. That's right.
Be strong. Have a wonderful nights. Okay, we'll see you again Tuesday nights.
All right. Yashikoa.
Yeah.
The last time you were here,
Yeah.
you said something and you said,
Oh,